Omaha.
Jim Johnson Jr. bowling him in the opening match is a four-time titleist from Topeka, Bob Beniot. Match number 2 features a two-time champion who owns 50 perfect games from Erie, Pennsylvania, Bob Learn Jr. Bowling in the semifinal match is a PBA Hall of Famer from Vidor, Texas, David Ozio. And our tournament leader is a 7-time titleist looking for his first win since '86 from Buffalo, Tom Baker. Those are the talented pros in the AC Delco Classic. And we're starting a little late this year with our coverage of the world's finest professionals. Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Chris Schenkel. Instead of January, this is our first of 14 telecasts today here in sunny California. And Bo and I want to thank you for joining us in our 35th season of these telecasts. And Bo, this is number 22 for you.
It's been a long time, pal. It really has been. And, you know, there's a real upside to starting here this week as the players have 6 weeks under their belt. It's not the start of the season. They're in top shape. We have a great field out here and a tremendous prize fund. I'm sure the players like to see it from AC Delco Classic. And let's take a look at that right now.
$48,000 to the winner of the AC Delco. Second is $25,000, third is $15,000, fourth is $10,000, $8,500 for fifth. And in our very first game, in the number 5 position, Jim Johnson from Wilmington, Delaware. 35 years old, going against Bob Beniot, 41-year-old pro. 300 Bob, we call him. So, Jim Johnson, Bo, seeking that very hard to come by first pro title. How do you explain that, Nelson?
Well, that's a good break. Right out of the chute, the 2-pin goes to the sideboard and trips out the 4-7.
Okay.
Jim Johnson, a little apprehensive in his first shot, and gets a great break. Now, here's a man who has a lot of experience, bowled a 300 game at the Quaker State just a few years back.
12 in a row he did that time, and the only one to have a 300 in the final game, won the championship. Born in Hutchinson, Kansas. The car restorer and car builder, Bob Beniot.
One of the keys to scoring well today, and you'll see it among the 5 players, is a medium ball speed. The lanes are pretty slick. The oil is 38 feet down the lane, and medium speed is the way to attack. If you throw too hard, it slides too far.
Last time we saw Bob was in Ontario, California, when he was 4th seed, and he finished 5th.
Here's Bob in the second frame. He doesn't quite kick the 10-pin out. The 6 shows no affection for the 10. Lays down the channel. Benoit with a really good spare technique. Straight shot across the lane.
All right. Both professionals continue to mark here in our very first match. If you just joined us, we're at Cal Bowl in Lakewood, California, in the Long Beach area. Winner of this game will bowl Bob Learn Jr. 15th consecutive year for AC Delco sponsoring this event.
Johnson with more of a conventional style than we see him among the top pros on the tour. Benoit, the big hook. Johnson down and in, very conventional. And the lanes are slick. It favors his games. As they dry out, he has a little trouble getting it back. Right now he has the advantage. 10 pins, 3rd frame.
He has strung 3 in a row out to a 20-pin lead here in our first match. Bob's second strike in the match. Marking with a spare in the second frame. That was the 3rd frame.
One thing I like about Benoit's style is his ball speed, Chris. When he's on, he just lays those pins down. He doesn't drive them over the top of each other. And it looks so pretty going through the pocket at about a 6-degree angle of attack. Almost perfect. Very seldom gets tapped.
Cutting Jim Johnson's lead now to only 10 pins as we take a break. And here in California, you bet it is springtime. It's come to Lakewood.
AC Delco knows that as a car gets older, its engine runs rougher. So we developed a spark plug to help bring back new car feel, and things really gelled. Introducing Rapid Fire from AC Delco. It makes an engine idle up to 27% smoother and accelerate with up to 18% quicker throttle response. New Rapid Fire. Its performance ought to have the competition shaken.
I don't need some fancy cologne to tell me I'm a man. I use Skin Bracer. It smells great, but it also cools and tones my skin. Confidence is very sexy, don't you think?
Original and cooling blue.
By Menon.
If you want relief from minor arthritis pain, turn up the heat on arthritis. Just minutes after applying Ultra Strength Bengay, you can actually see the heat. That's because Ultra Strength Bengay is the strongest, most advanced Bengay ever, and the only one with the powerful heating relief of 3 pain relievers, and it'll last for hours. Try Ultra Strength Bengay and turn up the heat on arthritis.
Now Bengay comes in an easy open flip-top tube, commended by the Arthritis Foundation.
Work boots. There's one place they don't work. Inside, they just don't have much cushioning. Dr. Scholl's Maximum Comfort work insoles give you 100% more cushioning. They make work easier on your feet.
Back again at Cal Bowl, Lakewood, California. You're looking at Jim Johnson of Wilmington, Delaware, shooting the 4th frame. He has 3 in a row.
Jimmy with a real conventional style 5-step delivery. Sets up in perfect position. Notice he has a sock on his sliding foot because he always used to play around as a kid just bowling without his shoes on, and it works well for him. In perfect position here, and look at this, and a good result. He started with 4 strikes in a row. Now you can use anything on your shoes if you like, as long as it doesn't leave a residue on the approach. So the sock is legal for Johnson.
5 in a row. 6 feet 2, 207 pounds, 35 years old.
Now you notice Benoit with this grip, he'll cup his wrist more and lay the ball almost back on his forearm. That's why he gets the much more powerful hook than Johnson.
That was a weak Scout.
Well, interesting, Chris. He doesn't have as much ball speed, so the Scout doesn't come over as quickly as somebody at 18 or 19. Bob about 16 or 17, and he also uses a 15-pound ball. He feels like he carries better, but on the off hits, not so on that particular shot.
And a spare for Bob Beniot in the 5th frame. Next Saturday at 3 Eastern and Pacific, 2 Central on ABC's Professional Bowlers Tour. It's high rolling time in Las Vegas. Dave Houston defends his crown, wherein he takes on bowling's best in a showdown at the Vegas Strip. That's next Saturday here on ABC Sports. Join us. Another 10-pin.
Well, Benoit is just paying a penalty for the 15-pound ball as opposed to the 16. When you hit in that what we call the half-10 position with his hook, about 6-degree angle of the pocket, he can flip that 10 out with a 16-pounder. However, with the 15, he's not had any luck.
Man who's made some changes with his grip and other areas. Bob Beniot. Now in the 6th frame, 5 in a row. 5-pin stops the string at 5.
Mentioned right at the top of the telecast, ball speed is very important. As you see Johnson a little bit anxious, 5 in a row. He whips it down there with a little extra loft and extra speed, and the ball hits like a marshmallow. It doesn't drive at all. It deflects off the 1-3, almost leaves the 5-7.
Jim Johnson, 51 sanctioned perfect games. Bob Learn Jr., whom you'll see next, has 50 sanctioned 300 games. The leader is a fellow in Ohio named Mike Whalen with 52.
Mike better keep striking because these boys know how to do it out here.
Right back. Solid pocket hit. We're at Cal Bowl, Lakewood, California. Well, the calendar tells us that it's still winter, but here in Southern California, it can be summer-like at the same time. In fact, it's about 80 degrees outside.
Well, messenger 10. Okay. Give me a granny strike. Give me a strike on lane 28.
Okay.
Must be the ball.
Columbia bowls the world over.
Once there were only 2 guarantees in life, death and taxes. I can help you with the taxes, and now I can tell you about a 3rd guarantee, the 100% satisfaction guarantee at Comfort Inns and Suites. If your room isn't right, they'll make it right, or the night's on them. That's right, a refund.
For comfort, satisfaction guarantee, and free continental breakfast, call 1-800-228-5150.
In this case, I can't offer to come with you. Darn it.
4 skating champions land in London, where one will be crowned king. It's a NutraSweet World Challenge of Champions. Next on Wide World.
All right, looking at Bob Beniot here at the return at Cal Bowl, the Long Beach area, Lakewood, California. Way to the left, almost touching the return for this shot. He trails by 30, 7th spare up. Just not getting any help from any of the pins 60 feet away. So he has a 9-pin. He has left 3 10s now. Single 9 on the right lane, lane number 34. Looks lonely, doesn't it? No problem. Another spare for Beniot as we go to Bo.
Thank you, Chris Schenkel. Bob Warren Jr., you finished 2nd here last year, and you did a little bit like Bob Beniot is doing out there. You hit the pocket on every single ball. Is there any change you're going to make to be more successful out there?
Well, last year they were hooking quite a bit. My ball was losing a little energy. I kind of lost some hits. Today's a lot more oil. I think I got a little better shot than I had last year, so I'm going to remain optimistic and go out there and do what I can.
He bowled well last year, and he'll be tough in the next game, Chris.
You bet. And now not a single pin, but he has left 3, 1, 2, 4. Interesting point in statistics. During the 1995 or last year telecasts, in covering single pin spares, these pros covered 95% of them. The one most often missed was the 4. The 2-pin, conversely, the 3-pin, 5 and 6 and 9 were never missed on TV in 1995. Now the 1, 2, 4. Oh, yes. Trailing by 35. And Jim Johnson up now. And with a strike up in the 7th, he'll be shooting in the 8th, can build on his lead.
This could be a real nail in the Beniot coffin here if he strikes here. Best Beniot can shoot is 224. Johnson going at a 239 pace.
Jim Johnson, whose son Jimmy III has just won the state of Delaware doubles championship. 11 years of age and loving the game as much as his pop.
pretty good bowler, too. His dad is the baseball coach on the side, so he's not only a bowler but a baseball player. Possible 279 for Johnson, 9th frame.
Only a spare in the 6th frame for Johnson.
What we're actually seeing here is a difference in styles making the difference in the carry. Benoit's been in the pocket every ball but 1 frame right there in the 8th. Johnson in the pocket every time. However, Johnson has a 55-pin lead.
Thank you, says Bob Beniot. There is Lorinda, Bob Benoit's wife, such a charming, lovely Hoosier.
Nice lady. Rooting for her husband here. It doesn't look too good for Bob. If he finishes out with strikes in the 10th frame, he can shoot 224.
Tonight at 8, 7 Central, it's a spectacular Disney's Champions on Ice starring Scott Hamilton and the best skaters in the world in an incredible hour of fantasy on ice. Then Bill Murray, whom you just saw, Gina Davis, and Phil Hartman star in Quick Change, all tonight on ABC.
Benoit with just a wonderful style, solid at the line, just has had nothing really good happen. He has a potential 224 with 2 more strikes here in the 10th, but Jim Johnson's been his day so far. He's only had 1 ball that didn't strike. That was in the 5th frame.
Good Bob has made it back to our televised finals. He's been away for a while, and it's good to have him on the show again because he provided with his 300-game Grand Prairie a lot of excitement for a series.
Great guy. Spare here, 212, 9 out, it'll be 211.
211 for Bob Benoit. Here now is Jim Johnson. Can you believe it? 248.
A little anxious, has the game well in hand. Best he can get now is 256 with a spare and a full count on the 2nd ball in the 10th. And a caution for Johnson, just watch your ball speed. Medium ball speed, that's 15, 16 miles an hour has been the story here. The players who have a lot of ball speed have the ball slide through the break zone.
Okay, standing 8-pin, but a 244 for the winner, Jim Johnson, who will go against Bob Learn Jr. This ABC Sports presentation of the Professional Bowler Show will continue after these messages and a word from our ABC stations.
What, is this your idea of excitement? Let me tell you about exciting, okay? Driving around a racetrack at over 200 miles an hour, that's exciting. These are just flakes.
Well, what do you think?
These are really good. They're crispy, too.
Really?
Yeah, they're mighty good even with nothing on them. What are they?
Hey, Charlie.
Yeah. Kellogg's Corn Flakes? How could I be so dumb?
You got 500 miles to think about it.
Kellogg's Corn Flakes. Taste them again for the first time.
At 21, he was the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. Now, Mike Tyson wants to be undisputed champion again. He wants to unify the title. He begins against newly crowned WBC champion Frank Bruno. Is Tyson ready? One thing's for sure. Bruno is. Bruno versus Tyson. Heavyweight Championship. Saturday, March 16th, live on pay-per-view. The Championship, Part 1. Call your cable or satellite company.
Bring the lanes home with PBA Bowling. The official license game by the Professional Bowlers Association. Now, you can practice at home. Move from beginner to intermediate to pro level, and the full motion video adds realism. Fun and easy for the whole family, so bring it home today. PBA Bowling by Bethesda Softworks. Get it for your PC today. Available at these fine retail distributors. PBA Bowling.
Nick was a pilot with 3 wives.
Do you know how much I love you?
In 3 cities.
I'm a little in over my head.
There are 3 of us?
Now, they're getting even. Melrose Place's Jack Wagner stars in a world premiere movie, Frequent Flyer, Sunday on ABC.
It's Furniture Liquidators March Madness Sale. Buy from the Liquidators and you keep up to 62%. Like on this contemporary sofa and love seat. Compare at $9.99. Our price, $4.99. You keep $500. There's more. Name brands like Serta, Simmons, Lane, and Bassett. No money? No problem. Use our Easy Finance program. Hurry in now and register to win $1,000 in free furniture.
Furniture Liquidators. We're known by the money you keep.
Tired of the same reruns on TV? Then get out and have some real fun at Red Crown Bowling Center. There's fun for the entire family, like Rock and Bowl every Friday and Saturday night. Children's birthday parties with bumper bowling. The Bowl and Brew Lounge for Mom and Dad. A great snack bar for the kids. The fun never stops. Don't forget to ask about their special senior citizens rates. Red Crown Bowling Center, where there's a good time every day of the week. Located at 2471 Sycamore, that's right behind Fluorescent Supply on Paxton Street.
Karen Thomas tonight on WHTM's Evening Edition.
The Professional Bowlers Tour on ABC Sports. Brought to you by AC Delco Automotive Parts. AC Delco, it's like buying time. Columbia 300 Incorporated. Columbia bowls the world over. And Comfort Inns and Suites.
In sunny California at Cal Bowl, our first match has ended. With 8 strikes, Jim Johnson defeats Bob Beniot by a score of 244 to 211. So there is some good scoring, Nelson.
Well, the match will pick up now with Bob Warren Jr. leaves nothing in the bag. He's an interesting player against Johnson. And reflecting a little bit earlier in the week, Chris, an award to you at Monday at Walt Disney World. The AAU honored you for 17 years of emceeing the Sullivan Awards, which recognizes our American amateur athletes.
They'll be discussing their involvement from 1979 to 1995. Thank you, Chris Shankle.
I'm overwhelmed because there aren't enough words to thank the AAU for giving me the privilege, not once, but 17 times, to stand in front of the 10 nominees each year. Not only our greatest amateur athletes, but having done 9 Olympic Games, in most cases, the greatest athletes in the world from the US of A. Believe me.
Terrific award, Chris. 1,200 people there, ABC officials, Disney people, and just a special memory. I applaud you.
Lots of great memories, and Phil Lingyell, Senior Vice President of Disney, spoke first, and alongside was Bobby Dodd, President of the AAU. Thanks to everyone. Well, now, back to reality. Going into our second game now. And Jim Johnson, 244. And remember, we told you he had 51 sanctioned 300 games. This man, Bob Learn Jr., has 50. Shot number 1, Bob Learn in the left lane.
Well, these players have bowled against each other many times. Bob Learn from Erie, Pennsylvania in the Eastern region, and Jim Johnson from Wilmington, Delaware. They've met many times, but never on national television.
Right back at it. He has 7 regional titles, but that elusive first national PBA title.
Taking one of his 2 allowed re-racks in this match here in the second frame, or at least asked for it. He could be denied it. Talking about the regions, Chris, there are 7 PBA regions. The country's broken up, and that's how most of the players get their minor league training, so to speak, to come out here and compete on the Pro Bowlers Tour. And as you said, he's been done awfully well on the regionals, 7 titles, but never in the winner's circle with the big boys. Here we go, second frame.
JJ leaves a 10-pin.
Well, as opposed to the half-tens we saw of Benoit, this is just a ring and 10. You see JJ around this third arrow, pretty straight shot. 6 just up and over the top of the 10.
Oh, carelessness.
My goodness. My goodness. The PBA players make the single pin spares 95% of the time on the tour, and Johnson just jumped in that 5% zone, and that's going to open the door for Bob Learn.
strike up, sucks one to the second frame, and now takes a 22-pin lead and early.
Let's look at Learn. He's at 5 feet 6 inches tall, and he's a leg bowler. He's short, and he drives hard with his legs. He gets real power. He doesn't leave anything in the bag. Bob Learn would rather be wild than cut it short. So you can bet he's got a strong ball going down there. Right now leads by 22.
One more time. 3 in a row and a 32-pin lead for the Erie, Pennsylvania professional. 2 titles, 18 regional titles for Learn. Now Johnson.
Break Johnson gets right there. The head pin swings behind, hits the 4. The 4 rolls around the 5. The 5 rolls into 2. What a terrific break after missing.
You sure this isn't dominoes?
It looks like it. Watch this action. Now, it looks like he's dead in the water with a bucket. Chris, reminiscent of Jess Stayrook, the 9th frame championship game against Bob Learn last year, tripped the 4 into the 2 to go on to win the title. Let's see if it affects Bob Learn in a negative way, and Johnson can take advantage.
Well, Jess Stayrook, who won last year here, finished 22nd. Yes, we're in Lakewood, California, where beach activity is always nearby.
At McDonald's, everybody's a team player. Let's meet the team. Gene St. Fleur. This rookie holds his own with the pros, setting a new record for most completions in a single day. Veteran Mickey Bailey averages 300 smiles per hour and scores points for most handoffs without a fumble. And thanks to manager Rodney Winton's unique coaching style and proven training techniques, Team McDonald's is able to achieve their goal, to keep you coming back for more. Our team is proud to be the official break of the U.S. Olympic team.
Now there are 4 ways to get the power of Selsun Blue, the #1 doctor-recommended dandruff shampoo. There's medicated, moisturizing, 2-in-1, balanced, 4 powerful Selsun Blue formulas. Now you've got even more Selsun power.
I don't need some fancy cologne to tell me I'm a man. I use Skin Bracer. It smells great, but it also cools and tones my skin. Confidence is very sexy, don't you think?
Original and cooling blue.
By Menon.
Extreme heat. It can cause chemical changes in motor oil that can destroy your car's engine. Fortunately, there's Quaker State motor oil, proven to exceed the highest standards car makers have established for protection against the destructive effects of heat. Quaker State. What's the state of your motor oil when the heat is on? Quaker State exceeds the highest standards for engine protection.
Dale Jarrett, Dale Earnhardt, and NASCAR's best burn up the track. It's the Purolator 500 Sunday on ABC.
Seating here at Cal Bowl, paralleling our championship pair. And Bob Learn, with a 22-pin lead, is on the right lane of that pair. In a row, just as his opponent Jim Johnson did to Bob Beniot, whom he defeated 244 to 211. Bob Learn, Erie, Pennsylvania. Oh, Bo, here you are.
Well, thank you, Chris. The man who shot 1070 4 games on TV last year and has always bowled well here. But you've never had a good break here, David. Can that change around in the championship here?
Well, you're a Hall of Famer, you know. You have to take the good with the bad. You know, there's bad breaks, there's good breaks. Things have gone bad here in the past few times that I've bowled here, but, you know, it's got to turn around sooner or later, and maybe I can flip that switch to make it happen.
He came down to 1 ball to strike to lead the tournament last night. Didn't happen. Maybe he'll turn around today. Back to you, Chris.
Okay, and Bob Learn is turning on the heat on Jim Johnson. 5 in a row, 42-pin lead. Strike up now, shooting the 5th, Johnson. Benoit. He opened a strike, then an open, and now has strung 3. He had 8 strikes in his 244 game in the first match. Bob Benoit, incidentally, picked up a check for $8,500 for finishing 5th. Cutting the lead now to 22 pins, but Learn is up. Halfway to 100,000.
We're talking about a man who's been there many times before. 50 perfect games in competition. That's not practice, just sticking 10 in a row or 12 in a row in practice or bowling on a new PBA computer game. That's for real out there.
And a 10. Bob had one of 4 perfect 300 games during the week here.
Good spare technique. Flattens his wrist out. A lot of speed. Cross lane. Straight shot. A little decoy shot there.
31 pins separating these two. The 1996 version, you know, of the PBA Tour has a hungry look. Take a peek. Watch.
Well, the kid who was driving.
Just how long does a car battery last? About this much time is put into most batteries. But AC Delco puts in more time, so our batteries last over 20% longer. Well, now there's the new Delco Freedom 84, our longest-lasting battery ever. We put in 7 years of guaranteed starts, making it the granddaddy of all batteries.
Hey, my watch.
You want a snack?
I've been searching.
Something sweet.
Gonna find it.
Something crunchy.
I've been searching. Searching everywhere.
You could be having it. The goodness of Kellogg's Corn Pops cereal. Pity they're just for breakfast. Because they just might be the snack you've been searching for.
Take 12 of the world's top drivers, put them in identical cars, and let them loose at Daytona. It's the first test in the International Race of Champions, Sunday on ABC Sports.
In the interview, he's in the practice lane, in the practice lane.
We're back again at Cal Bowl, where Jim Johnson and Bob Learn Jr. head-to-head in our second match. Jim Johnson, to whom you're looking, won the first game against Bob Benoit, 244 to 211. Now he's down 31 pins because Learn has been on a strike binge, but so is Jim now. Five-bagger, lead cut to 21 pins, Bo.
Well, if you look at this game, Chris, 14 balls rolled at the 1-3 pocket. Everybody in the pocket. Johnson is the only mistake. He left a solid 10 in the second frame and whiffed it. So he's in arrears by 21, but he can cut that down to 11 with a strike here in the 8th.
Bob Learn getting prepared, leads by 11. is the spare working, shooting in the 8th frame.
Well, he gets a good break. You know, he bowled last year for the title, had every ball in the pocket and shot 215. Now he makes a mistake here and almost has the 310 baby split and gets a break. He knocks out the 10 pin, and so he stays right in the match. And this match is up for grabs as you see his reaction. With a spare here, only be a 10 pin differential.
He and his wife Stacy, parents of Brandon and Brittany. Bob Learn Jr. from Erie, Pennsylvania, where we'll have one of our 7 arena finals. And I mentioned that area because Bruce Baumgartner, the 16-time national wrestling champion and many-time world champion, won the Sullivan Award at Orlando on Monday, and he'll join us when we're there.
Looking forward to it. He's looking forward to this strike, Bob Learn. Interesting, Chris. Bob Beniot used a 15-pound ball. Left a couple of weak 10s was his undoing. Bob Learn Jr., another big hook ball player, is using a 15-pound ball. Watch the ball deflect and not quite get the impetus on the 6. See it lie down in the channel? Doesn't kick out the 10. And that so far has cost both players a chance to lose the game. Right now, after trailing by almost as much as 40 pins, Johnson can regain the lead, 9th frame.
What speed on that last shot covering the 10 pin. There's the suck.
Just playing around as a kid. You know, it's actually pretty good, Chris, because if you run to the line too fast, charge the line, you're going to slip. So it's a good little reminder. Can take the lead right here, 9th frame. No other pins except a 10 pin have been left in this match. 2 by each player. However, the difference for Johnson is his were just absolutely crushing.
Watch this reaction. What disappointment. Fiancée Sabrina Robinson, I'm sure, was disappointed too back in Wilmington.
Jimmy Johnson going at a 2:37 pace. Bob Learn 2:47 pace. 9 frames completed as they come up in the 10th, both working on spares. Jim a possible 2:47. If Bob Learn strikes and spares, he would have 2:47, a tie. Let's see what happens.
Tremendous bowling in our opening telecast of a tour of 14 cities, Nelson.
Well, reflecting being away from it for a little while, Chris, I see players even in better shape than I remember in '95. These guys are top shape. Sure, it's the 6th, 7th term of the season, but I see smaller waistlines and better strike balls.
The strike, the prettiest thing in bowling.
And that one was a key one because with one more strike, he'll force Bob Learn to strike twice to win, strike, spare to tie. Remember, if we have a tie game, we'll initiate a 2-frame sudden death roll-off to determine who bowls against David Ozio in the semifinal.
Was the downfall and disappointment for Bob Beniot in the very first game, which Johnson won. And now here against Bob Learn, Johnson has shot a 246 to go along with his 244 in his first game win.
For Bob Learn to win it in regulation, he must strike on this ball. Must strike to win it in regulation because 9 spare strike, we can have a tie. That was the key shot for Bob Learn Jr. Hits the light, scrambles the 4, 7, 8 off the sideboard. Right now, he just needs a spare to win the game. Strike, Lock City. Gets a good break as a 2-5 falls out, and it sets up a situation for Bob Learn. Make the 5-pin, theoretically the easiest pin in the game of bowling to make, and he wins by 1, and he'll go on to face Ozio. If for some reason he'd happen to fan it or foul, we'd have a tie.
Go for the win, baby!
By 1 pin, 247 to 246. Learn moves on. Today's Comfort Inn's bowling tip of the week was taped at Don Carter All-Star Lanes at Sunrise and features Paula Carter with her view on spot bowling. Here's Bo.
And now ABC Sports Professional Bowlers Tour presents another winning never gets old bowling tip. Brought to you by Comfort Inns and Suites.
Today we're going to show you how you can improve your bowling game through spot bowling. And with me is former U.S. Open Women's Champion Paula Carter. And Paula knows the benefits of practice drills in the sport of bowling. Paula, what do you have here?
Well, Bo, we have the 7 and the 10 pins set up. We have a Venetian blind out there so that we can't see the pins because they're 60 feet away and we don't want to look at them anyway. We want to look at the target, and that's 15 feet away.
Great idea. Let's take a shot at it. You shoot the 7 pin. That's a little bit tougher for the left-hander. I'll shoot the 10 pin. We'll close the Venetian blind so we can concentrate on our target, and let's have a go at it. Bingo, pretty good. Take a tip from Paula Carter. Spot bowl and you'll improve your game. And remember, winning never gets old.
This ABC Professional Bowlers Tour Winning Never Gets Old bowling tip has been brought to you by Comfort Inns and Suites.
There are gut balls and gutter balls. And sometimes the trophy falls. But no matter what, you'll love the bowlers who have it all on ABC Sports Home Video, Bowling the Perfect Game. Call 1-800-4ABC-VCR to order bowling's colorful history. Narrated by Chris Schenkel and Nelson Burton Jr. This collector's home video can be yours to enjoy for only $14.98 plus $3.95 shipping. That's 1-800-4ABC-VCR.
Once there were only 2 guarantees in life, death and taxes. I can help you with the taxes, and now I can tell you about a 3rd guarantee, the 100% satisfaction guarantee at Comfort Inns and Suites. If your room isn't right, they'll make it right, or the night's on them. That's right, a refund.
For Comfort Satisfaction Guarantee and free continental breakfast, call 1-800-228-5150.
In this case, I can't offer to come with you. Darn it.
Well?
Messenger 10.
Okay. Give me a granny strike. Give me a strike on lane 28. Okay. Must be the ball.
Columbia bowls the world over.
It's never fun to eat and run, to rush and eat too fast, 'cause you know it's gonna catch up with you at last.
For acid indigestion or heartburn with headache, nothing's faster than Alka-Seltzer.
Get yourself some Alka-Seltzer and you'll feel better fast.
If you want relief from minor arthritis pain, turn up the heat on arthritis. Just minutes after applying Ultra Strength Bengay, you can actually see the heat. It's the strongest, most advanced Bengay ever with the heating power of 3 pain relievers. So turn up the heat on arthritis.
Here Calvo, Jim Johnson with 8 strikes in the first game, 244 to Bob Benoit's 211. Then Bob Learn, like Johnson, 2nd and 3rd in 300s. Looked like they each might have one. That little boy hopes to have one. So it is now Bob Learn that will go against David Ozio.
175 men went to the starting gate. Let's look at the top 24 as they finished out here. See Brian LeClaire finished in 8th place. I think he's the most improved player I've seen, Chris, coming back. Deadeye right there in 9th. The King in 11th. The Buzzsaw in 13th. Don Sylvia, a veteran. Rockin' Ryan. Sister Karen, an excellent bowler. Danny Wiseman. Bob Vesby, the big hook ball. He's straightening it out. Mike Taylor struggling with a mysterious hip injury. The Rock, the defending champion here. Andy Nyer and Norman Titus round out the top 24.
PBA Tour from Las Vegas. That is a week from today at the Showboat. Then 2 weeks from today, the Quaker State 250, Grand Prairie, Texas. It'll be an arena finals in that Texas Sound. Match 3 now coming up. Bob Learn, who defeated Jim Johnson, 247-246. Shoot first, and his opponent is the Hall of Famer, David Ozio.
This should be a tough match, the semifinal. Learn gives nothing away. Ozio is as good as they come.
And a little 3-pin.
Good break. He broke that split down again earlier. It was really the pivotal difference in the last game. He breaks down the 3-10 baby split. You'll see the 10-pin standing momentarily. 6 bumps it out off the sideboard, so he's had 2 good breaks on high hits.
Key match, because you win here, you go into the finals where the winner can get $48,000, the runner-up $25,000. The loser in this game leaves with $15,000. Pair of threes.
Well, the angle there, both players are cutting into the head pin, kind of breaks up the splits. If it had been a little later hook, they might have ended up with a 4-6 split, as you see Ozio with a little extra speed, more than we've seen from the other players. And everybody able to break up splits so far. Ozio, a simple spare.
Watching Dad bowl in Vidor, Texas, are Mom Lisa and Heather and Haley. 2 young ladies, 11 and 6. Quite the young ladies at modeling. It's their profession. A good teacher in their Mom Lisa. Ten-pin for the Hall of Famer, inducted into the PBA Hall of Fame along with Walter Ray Williams, Jr. Mike Albee, the Player of the Year, PBA Player of the Year, finished 40th here. And as he said, I did cash. So it's going to be more spare shooting time here at Cal Bowl after the big first 2 games, leaving the 2-4-5. Started out with a spare. Butch Soper, again, our talented statistician and making money on tour, having won the last event on the tour, the doubles, 40,000. All right, Bo, here's your time.
Thank you, Chris. Jim Johnson, 17 strikes in 2 games. Normally you just waltz through 2 opponents, but one little mistake.
Yeah, didn't have my footing. I'm usually a good spare shooter, too. I missed 2 spares today, and fortunately, one of them really cost me.
I feel like the 10-pin, the shot you had, that straighter down and in shot, seemed like the one to use. Might have even cost you the title.
Yeah, I felt really confident. I thought I could win my first title today. I had a great shot. Everything was just coming together until I made one error. I got a couple breaks. Oh, well.
You're a good player. You'll be back, and good luck, Jim. Back to you, Chris.
Just another reason why I've enjoyed being around these people for 35 years. They're so honest and so dedicated. Bob Learn with 3 spares now here in our semifinal match. David Ozio, his opponent, and he is marked with 2 spares, now shooting in the 3rd frame. Tournament leader is Tom Baker, waiting for the winner of this game. high hit and a 310.
Really the first split we've seen today. We've seen a number of balls go high, but Ozio drifts up high, leaves the 310. You see him an extreme inside line between the 3rd and 4th arrows, gives it out to about the 12th board, which was not enough room. Cross lane, he'll kill the shot, hope to deflect the ball from the 3 into the 10. Whew, that thing just skidded out the last minute. I thought he had it covered.
Winner of 11 PBA titles.
3 feet from the pin, it looks like he has it. That ice-colored bowling ball, obviously designed to slide, did its job, but a little too well. Ozio trails by 10, 4th frame.
So our first strike in this game coming in the 4th frame at Cal Bowl, Southern California, where great weather has brought the locals to the farmers market nearby.
Make sure you stay in the chariot, Chuck. I guarantee you're going to win the dang race. That's good. True story.
You are so special. That chariot thing you did and the water stuff. I love you, man.
You're not getting my Bud Light. Frankly, son, you frighten me.
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
And it's more like, I love you, man. See? I hold in my hand the single most important invention in the history of lawn care. These are Miracle Grow time-release capsules, and this is Miracle Grow extra long-lasting lawn food that's guaranteed to keep your lawn greener longer. That's because it feeds 2 ways. A quick release for a fast green up and continuous time release for a beautiful green that lasts for months. Miracle Grow extra long-lasting lawn food will keep your lawn greener longer. Guaranteed.
Camel, Yamaguchi, and Kerrigan, 3 skating greats in revealing conversations when Nike presents A Passion to Play next Sunday on ABC.
Bob Learn poised, ready for more action here in the semifinal game. He trails by 10, but he can, or rather, leads by 10. With the spare up shooting now in the 4th frame. He's going against David Ozio. Okay, Bo.
Well, Chris, you know, I got a player over here, Tom Baker. Tom, you've been a dominant player in the early 80s, but it's been 10 long years since you won. Have you ever doubted you'd ever come back to the winner's circle?
I had my doubts for a moment there, but mentally I didn't have my doubts. I always thought my head was pretty good shape. The only thing that bothers me probably has been my wrist. You know, my wrist it's not as strong. It's probably not as flexible as the other guys, but I have to work around it, and I just got to use my head a lot more than the other guys do.
Well, he's experienced, Chris. He's our tournament leader, and we'll check him out in a few minutes. Back to you.
And Bob Learn now is beginning to catch on fire. He is just after 3 spares, marked with a double, and 20-pin lead. But David Ozio with the strike-up shoots in the 5th. Only a 10-pin lead by Bob Learn. Ozio can make it level, even.
I guess Ozio's greatest talent is his passion for practicing out here on the PBA Tour. Chris, one time when he was in a slump, I watched him practice for 6 consecutive hours. That's 35 to 40 games, and obviously had a great career, but practice is the key.
Doing the walk around after leaving the 10-pin.
Great record in the AC Delco Classics, as you see a solid 10 in a very pivotal frame that would have tied the match up. He's won this tournament before. He's been in the championship round the last 2 years.
11 titles, and a title he hopes to gain soon involves bass fishing. Bass Masters. Ray Scott and his group. That is David's goal. He'll make it too. Bob Learn now. Double working. Ten.
Well, we've seen that shot a number of times, just the soft 10, but keep it around the hole. You can't get in too much trouble. With a conversion here, Learn will continue to lead by 10 pins through 6 frames.
Coming up on ABC's Wide World of Sports, Paul Wiley, Victor Petrenko, Kurt Browning, and Robin Cousins are featured in the men's competition at the NutraSweet World Challenge of Champions. Plus, short track speed skating from Holland. It's all coming up next on Wide World, ABC. The match gets closer. The semifinal, prelude to the final. We'll be back for more. But first, this.
Mike Tyson fought Frank Bruno once before. This is what happened.
Tyson gets nailed with a left hook. Tyson looks wobbly as he attacks Bruno. It's the first time I've seen anything like Tyson staggered. Mike Tyson doesn't seem to have that fiery look in his eyes.
Bruno versus Tyson, WBC Heavyweight Championship, Saturday, March 16th, live on pay-per-view. The Championship, Part 1. Call your cable or satellite company.
Just how long does a car battery last? About this much time is put into most batteries. But AC Delco puts in more time, so our batteries last over 20% longer. Well, now there's the new Delco Freedom 84, our longest-lasting battery ever. We put in 7 years of guaranteed starts, making it the granddaddy of all batteries.
Hey, my watch!
You voted them the year's best. Now celebrate the hardest hits, the greatest comebacks, plus much more. Tony Danza hosts the 1996 ESPY Awards. Late night tonight.
Meet the general manager for Calbo, Larry Oya. Calbo, part of the Pacific Theater chain, part of Viter, Texas, David Ozio.
Well, the Wizard seems to have got himself tuned in. The first 3 frames he was fishing. He went high, left the 3-pin, got a 10, went high, 3-10 split. Right now, with a strike here in the 8th, he can tie the match.
Oh, the 1991 PBA Player of the Year has caught up to Bob Learn. Late in the game.
Flawless style. Dynamic reaction. Even match. Bob Learn slowing the action down a little bit here, Chris. I like that. He has just said, hey, let me take a little break. And he's set himself. Now he can retake the lead with a strike.
Tomorrow at 1 Eastern, 12 Central and Pacific on ABC Sports, Daytona 500 winner Dale Jarrett and Rockingham winner Dale Earnhardt and all the boys from NASCAR meet in Atlanta for the Pure Later 500. Then it's the first test of the International Race of Champions from Daytona. That's all tomorrow here on ABC Sports.
The man who's ranked 10th in the PBA can take a 20-pin lead with a strike in the 9th. Pivotal frame.
One more!
Well, this one's going down to the very last shot like the last game. Bob Learn, 2:14 pace. Ozio with a strike in the 9th would be at 2:15. Ozio fiddling around with that thumb hole, has to have that perfect feel. Chris, the 4-pin is the most often missed single pin in professional bowling. And he almost misses it again.
With a lot of speed.
And I'll tell you why they miss it more often now. There's more oil in the center of the lanes. It's hard to get that ball over to the left side. Now Ozio with a chance to take the lead. He trails by 9, double working.
Bring it sliding by and leaving the 2.
The PBA players call it OB, out of bounds zone. Once you get to the last 7 inches of the lane, the ball will slide out. Ozio went out to that area this time, and it did not come back. Now, as we step up in the 10th, here's the situation. If David Ozio strikes out, he would finish with 214. Bob Learn going at a 214 pace. Let's see who has it in the 10th. That one forces Bob Learn to mark. My, oh my, solid 10. Situation for Ozio, spare 204, forces Learn to get a mark of any type. Decent count and a mark.
Loser of this game will walk away with $15,000. However, the winner will have a shot at the $48,000 first prize, and should he not make that against Tom Baker, second is $25,000.
He missed so far, he almost struck. That was a wild one. Bob Learn knows he got a terrific break, and he has to take advantage of it. If he misses this spare, he loses. If he makes it, he needs a 2-pin count. Well, that's academic. The spare is the key. Has to make this.
Get it!
He's not proud of it, but it's going to be a victory. Looks like it's going to be Bob Learn Jr., who just needs a mere 2 pins. Let's stay behind the foul line and keep the heart beating. It'll be Bob Learn Jr. going against Tommy Baker.
.25, and of course, Bob Learn doesn't have to worry because he shot a 211 to Ozio's 204. Goes into the finals. For all you bowling fans, the Brunswick quiz poses this question. This ABC Sports presentation of the Professional Bowlers Tour will continue after these messages and a word from our ABC stations.
Don't roll with the punches. Throw them.
It's not whether you win or lose. It's whether you win.
11 strikes down. 10 pins up. 1 ball to go.
The late night smack attack. You want sweets. You want crunchy. You got it. You got the goodness of Kellogg's Frosted Mini Wheat cereal, but a dragger just for breakfast.
I've been searching.
Nick was a pilot with 3 wives.
Do you know how much I love you?
In 3 cities.
I'm a little in over my head.
There are 3 of us?
Now, they're getting even. Melrose Place's Jack Wagner stars in a world premiere movie, Frequent Flyer, Sunday on ABC.
You can't buy a quality oak dining table for less. Oak Express guarantees it. Oak Express has over 40 styles of dining tables, including contemporary, traditional, casual, and farm tables. The 60-inch Vernon is only $179. These sturdy farm tables with solid hardwood tops are just $99 your choice. Plus, buy now and make no payments for 6 full months. See it, inspect it, take it home today. Oak Express, a half block east of the West Manchester Mall in York.
B is for buyout, a Boscov's buyout of kids' spring playwear. B is for big names like Nanette, Bum Equipment, Sparkle, Eclipse, Sesame Street, Baby Togs, Misty Harbor, and more. B is for big savings of 63% on adorable spring playwear for infants and toddlers. Girls 4 to 14, boys 4 to 7, now $2.99 to $10.99. A sale so big it's in the seasonal area and auditoriums at Boscov's.
Join Dennis Owens for sports tonight on News Center.
I'm Robin Roberts in New York. Coming up after bowling, it's ABC's Wide World of Sports. Today we return to London for the men's competition at the NutraSweet World Challenge of Champions, featuring Olympic gold medalist Victor Petrenko and Robin Cousins. Plus, we'll travel to the Netherlands for all the wild action from the World Short Track Speed Skating Championships. Wide World is next at 4:30 Eastern and Pacific. Now let's go back to bowling.
Here now the question, what 2 bowlers hold the record for the highest scoring match on television? Now here's a Brunswick quiz answer. Mike Colby defeated David Ozio 300 to 279 in the 1993 Wichita Open. What a day that was. Memorable indeed. And here at Cal Bowl, you see what's happened today. 244 to 211 Johnson, then a 247 to 246 by Bob Learn. Learn 211, Ozio 204, and we go to the final. We have a new executive director of the Professional Bowlers Association, Mark Gerberick, and we saw your new logo, Mark. What else is new?
Well, we're going to give our bowlers a chance to showcase their personalities in 7 arena finals out of the 14 weeks on ABC.
I'll buy that, Mark. Good luck to you.
Thanks, Chris.
All right, here we go now with that final match in the AC Delco Classic. 48,000 to the winner, 25,000 to the runner-up. Capacity crowd is ready along with all of us. Bob Learn will shoot first, Bo.
Well, Bob Learn is definitely a winner, and Tom Baker hasn't been there in 10 years. It would behoove Learn to get off to a quick start until Baker kind of gets his sea legs, as you speak, out here on the lanes. Let's see what happens.
Beautiful.
And you got to be a little suspect with Learn. You know, he started his first match with 6 strikes in a row, and he's not had more than 2 in a row since then. So that's almost 2.5 games here since he's put together a string. So he could be struggling a little bit. Let's see what happens.
Tom Baker's had to wait a long time for 3 matches to be completed, and now the tournament leader comes out here and keeps things even after 1 frame.
Well, the bake's just an ideal style. You don't last as long as he has of it. He sets up here, nice smooth all the way through. Watch a pivotal arm swing right through, driving through. It's a position that he gets nice and solid with. Makes a great shot. You know, Baker, when he was really going well, Chris, in the early 80s, was really lived in the shadow of Mark Roth, Marshall Holman, Earl Anthony, and people don't realize he was one of the top 5 players for over 5 years until he had that wrist injury. It's nice to see him back. Let's see if he can capitalize on it.
7 titles in this long career, 43rd television appearance for Tom, 41-year-old pro.
And look at his all-time money list. I mean, he can crack over $900,000 for a guy you haven't heard from 10 years. So he know he can do it. Let's see if Learn can make the match even with a double.
The 8.
Head pin goes to sideboard. Temporarily, you see a 7-8 split, but he gets a fortuitous bounce with the 4. Takes out the 7. Pretty simple spare.
ABC prides itself in the many graphics, important and valuable graphics that we see on our telecasts. And graphic operator supreme, Bob Beniot, isn't with us because really damaged his ankle with 11 pins, not bowling pins in it. And he's on his way to recovery, so Bob, we all wish you well. No pain.
Tom Baker strings 3 here in the championship match.
You know, when you're 41 years old and you've been in the winner's circle, but you've been away from it for 10 years, Chris, this is more of a, I think, an intellectual challenge for Tommy Baker than a physical challenge. He knows he can bowl. We all know he can bowl, but you have to believe it to stay among the top out here.
In 1981, he won 3 consecutive tournaments in a 4-week span.
Doesn't surprise me. Glad to see him back. Let's see if he can capitalize. Leads by 20, can make it 30.
One more time.
All right, a 4-bagger for the tournament leader, Tom Baker. More after this.
They test car batteries here. They test pickup trucks here. And when they test yard machines, they go here, Dave Spivey's house. MTD tractors, chipper shredders, lawnmowers, and edgers tackle the toughest jobs. Look for MTD yard machines at retailers near you. MTD.
Wow! I like it!
MTD yard machines, American made, American owned.
It's a beautiful day at McDonald's as Mrs. Foley steps up, checks the sign, and delivers.
Big Mac extra value meal, please.
Nice one. Dave Garcia fields the call, dishes to Scott English. English cooks, Brett Broom wraps with a no-look pass to Lori Cole. Tony Fernandez scoops fries and assists on the drink. Skipper Jim Brook with an incredible move, hands off to Garcia, who turns, smiles, and connects.
Thanks, come again.
The crowd absolutely loves this.
We're Team McDonald's, proud to serve you and be the official break of the Olympic Games.
He's back in a zone.
Dale Jarrett, Dale Earnhardt, and NASCAR's best burn up the track. It's the Purelator 500 Sunday on ABC.
The Professional Bowlers Tour on ABC Sports. Brought to you by AC Delco Automotive Parts. AC Delco, it's like buying time. Yard Machine, American made, American owned. And Kellogg's, with good taste, nutrition, and value, the best you each morning from Kellogg's.
Bob Learn is trailing by 30 pins. Strike, spare, strike, now shooting in the 4th frame, going against Tom Baker.
Now trailing by 20.
Interesting part of Bob Learn's style is his footwork. He's a leg player. He's a powerful player. When Bob hits the foul line with his sliding foot sliding down the target line or pretty perpendicular to the foul line, he's in shape and his position in shape. When he gets up there sideways, kicks his right hip out, he throws the ball in any old place. And that's the reason he hasn't been stringing him. He's been erratic with his approach. Let's see if he can maintain it here, cut the lead to 10.
A 7. That's a first today.
Yes, sir.
Boy, he smokes those spare shots.
Well, the man who at one time owned 3 racehorses, raced them at Buffalo Raceway, Batavia Downs, just as a hobby, can put together his 5th consecutive strike and open up a 31-pin lead, 5th frame.
Oh, yeah. Those are the strikes that the founder of the PBA, Eddie Elias, loves to see. I know he and Peggy are watching back in Akron.
And Miss Pearson, the VP
Linnea
of Business
Pearson.
Operations. Yep, just a wonderful complex they have here, Chris, with their bowling center, 68 lanes here and all the theaters.
Jay Swerdlow is the Vice President General Manager of the theaters.
Now, he is halfway.
Don't count this man out. I like to call him Junior, and he's not going to roll over for Tom Baker no matter how many strikes Baker throws.
Bob shot a 247 today to Jim Johnson's 246.
Just a little polishing of Bob Learn Jr.'s game in the approach area, Chris. I think will elevate him to another level. He's in the top 10 now. He pushed the top 5 up there with the Walter Rays. A little better approach.
He seems to make his single pin spares very exciting. Never flush.
Well, let's look at his technique. On the left side, he throws a straight ball at most of the 4s and the 7s, and if the pins around the pocket, he throws the hook. So he knows what he's doing, considers himself a good spare shooter, and obviously he's covered 3 up 3 in this match.
Strike in the 7th frame for Bob Learn. Now Tom Baker is up with 6 in a row, shooting in
the 7th.
Tom Baker just showing how much talent's on the Professional Bowlers Tour. This guy, as well as he bowls, has been out here for 10 years and hasn't won. Can you imagine how good everybody is out here? You just got to come out and appreciate these players. You got to see them.
Now he needs 4. Tom Baker with 32 sanctioned 300 games. Bob Learn with 50.
Bob Learn can still win this match. Trust me, he has to strike out, and disaster has to hit Baker, but let's see what happens.
There's the double. Bo, question.
Yes, sir.
Are you going to bowl this year, compete?
I will do some bowling, Chris. I've been bowling in league with my 2 daughters, and not too bad, averaging about 218, but not enough to compete with these guys. Need a little more training. Now, Learn, possible 248. If indeed he strikes out, he forced Baker to at least mark, but Baker's thinking 300.
That look of disdain, take that. You know, 3 in a row.
8 in a row.
Three more.
All right, Chris, you see the little high five Bob Learn gave Baker?
Yes,
that secured the match. That strike secured a win. Now it's, can he finish with a Baker's dozen for
AC
$100,000?
Yes, AC Delco will be proud. And Jim Johnson was off here in the establishment. He's just come over to take a closer look. Let's watch.
My, oh my, partner. Do it awfully well.
Looked perfect. Well, they'd be in the 270s, but he wanted that 100 grand. Now, the winner here today will get $48,000, and some of the incentives to go with it, they'll make it a pretty good payday to the winner. So.
You're right, Chris. He'll be in that $75,000 to $80,000 range.
Really?
And that ain't so bad.
$278, 5 and a 10. The AC Delco Classic champion, Tom Baker, Buffalo, New York.
If you settle for a remanufactured engine without a brand name, be sure you've got a pair of name brand shoes. AC Delco engines, the national brand name with the nationwide warranty. Call for a location near you. Of course, if you come in on foot, we'll understand.
What, is this your idea of excitement? Let me tell you about exciting, okay? Driving around a racetrack at over 200 miles an hour, that's exciting. These are just flakes.
Well, what do you think?
These are really good. They're crispy, too.
Really?
Yeah, they're mighty good even with nothing on them. What are they?
Hey, Charlie.
Yeah. Kellogg's Corn Flakes? How could I be so dumb?
You got 500 miles to think about it.
Kellogg's Corn Flakes. Taste them again for the first time.
I don't need some fancy cologne to tell me I'm a man. I use Skin Bracer. It smells great, but it also cools and tones my skin. Confidence is very sexy, don't you think?
Original and cooling blue.
By Menon.
Hold it. This isn't you. It's an older guy.
Oh, that was before I got rid of my gray hair with Just for Men hair color.
Come on, that's too natural to be hair coloring.
Just for Men. Apply and in 5 minutes rinse. Gray is blended away for a totally natural look.
Think it'll work for me?
In 5 minutes.
Just for Men looks too natural to be hair coloring. And now try Just for Men Color Gel for the hard-to-color hair of mustaches and beards. Brush in, rinse out. Just 5 minutes.
Work boots. There's one place they don't work. Inside, they just don't have much cushioning. Dr. Scholl's Maximum Comfort work insoles give you 100% more cushioning. They make work easier on your feet.
The 15th AC Delco Classic has ended, and Tom Baker with an exciting tournament, winning the top prize of 48. Bob Learn second, third David Ozio, Jim Johnson, and Bob Beniot. There he is. He shot at 278 and 247 for Mr. Learn. Buffalo is proud of you.
I'm sure I'm proud too, but I'm choked up here. It's been a while. It's been like I think it's been 10 years or whatever it's been. I felt like a rookie again out here, but it feels great.
Do you want to look at that shot that broke the string? Because it was perfect. The shot.
Yeah, it was a good shot. I thought it was going to be a strike. Just solid 10. What are you going to do?
Here it is.
It's a good shot. I always keep saying you got to burn that pin. That pin kills everybody.
All right, let's go to a longtime friend, Frank Gahn, who is sports marketing manager for AC Delco. He has been here most of the week, and I don't think he's missed a shot, Frank. I know you have something that Tom will appreciate.
Oh, thank you very much, Chris. On behalf of AC Delco, I'm proud to present this check for $48,000 to you. Congratulations. Good luck next week, too.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to thank AC Delco and Pacific Theaters for sponsoring the tournament. They've been doing it a number of years, and they do a great job. It's good to have sponsors like them come aboard and join us, and it gives us guys time to bowl for some money out here and have a good time doing it like I did today.
We want you never to forget that you gave us a great show today. And Jay Swerdlow is Vice President General Managers of those Pacific Theaters. Jay?
I want to add my congratulations on behalf of High Scoring Cal Bowl. A terrific job. That was really a 10-pin tap. You deserved the 300 game. Congratulations, and if this isn't going to raise your voice 2 octaves, hang on to that trophy.
All right, thank you, Jay, and thank you, Frank. Tom, congratulations. See you next week. Las Vegas Showboat. Goodbye. Tom Baker, the winner.
The executive producer of ABC Sports is Jack O'Hara. Today's telecast of the Professional Bowlers Tour was produced by Carol Letty, directed by Norm Samet, technical director Michael Carmen, associate directors Fred King and Vince D'Addario, production manager Joe Alvarado, technical managers Les Weiss and Roger Williams, stage manager Tom Gatewood, assistant to the producer Kevin Miller.
I'm Robin Roberts in New York. ABC's Wide World of Sports is next. Today, the men's field at the Meeker Street World Challenge of Champions is headlined by Olympic gold medalist Victor Petrenko and Robin Cousins of Great Britain. And we'll have all of the speed and thrills from the World Short Track Speed Skating Championship.